This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Concerns surrounding the coronavirus are making its way to U.S. soil.
I am confident that Indiana is ready if and when this outbreak reaches our state.
Right now at 6, how Hoosier health officials are preparing for the illness's impacts on Indiana.
Number one is we're ready. We are prepared as a city.
Only on RTV6, ready to respond to the coronavirus. We'll show you how 911 calls will be answered in Marion County and take you to where supplies are stored to deal with any public health emergency.
The future of rapid transit in the Circle City may have just taken a detour.
Are you voting against public transit in Indianapolis? Are you going to put Indianapolis back into the last century?
Working for you, we're breaking down how a State House bill could put the brakes on Indigo's purple and blue lines.
It is 6 o'clock here on your Friday morning. Thanks so much for joining us. Cold morning out there, but we just got to get through today, then good news arrives.
I know it's Friday, but I'm thinking Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Sunday.
I've been looking ahead to Todd's 7-day forecast. I'm just, circling that day in my mind. But we do have to get through the cold weather today, Todd. So what can we expect out there?
Just bundle up as you walk out the door. This morning, tomorrow morning, both very similar, as we'll be down in the teens in many locations. But once we get past tomorrow morning, then that warm-up is going to take place. A live look in the city there showed you that the temperatures or the visibility weren't an issue and the skies are clear. And here are those temperatures in some northern locations. And this is where we're the coldest. The further north you are, there's more snow on the ground, and that's why you're in the teens in Flora as well as Kokomo. You come south, not as much in the way of snow, still obviously very cold. Fisher's currently sitting at 21 degrees. The skies are clear currently across the area, and it's a dry day for the most part. There's a window, though, as we get into the afternoon of probably 1 to 2 hours that these snow showers that you see in western Illinois will make their way into the area. Primarily from I-70 south, they'll move through. Not looking at a lot in the way of accumulation, but visibilities will be reduced on the roadways as some of these snow squalls could be pretty intense. Again, that's this afternoon. We'll get you out the door first this morning. Temperatures will still be only right around 29 degrees. Once we get to the noon hour, we'll talk about those snow showers in more detail for you coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. I want you to take a look right now at our traffic camera here in Fishers. This is I-69 and 96th Street. Now, kind of in the bright headlights there off in the distance, you see those flashing lights. That is a crash blocking the left lane of northbound I-69, and you can see it's slowing down traffic already in that area traveling northbound in Fishers. Let's take a look at this spot on our map. You can see this is up here again in the northbound lanes, left lane blocked at 96th Street. Once you get past that, everything is traveling up to speed. We'll continue to monitor this and keep you updated throughout the morning.
The time now is 6:02, and we are covering the big story of the day from every possible angle. The impacts of the growing coronavirus concerns, they continue to be felt across the globe and here in our home state of Indiana. This morning, health officials at every level, from the state to local first responders, are preparing for when the virus appears in our state. And this morning, we're working for you with how they're making sure that we are all ready.
We begin our coverage with a Good Morning Indiana exclusive. We have the details on how the state's largest emergency medical services will handle any coronavirus cases.
Now, at this point, the State Department of Health says there are no known cases here in the state of Indiana.
But Indy's 300 medics and their ambulances, they're equipped to respond. It's a story you'll only see right here on RTV6. The biggest concerns for public health providers remains the flu. But with all this talk of the coronavirus, Emergency Medical Services wants people to be calm. They say they are ready.
We're ready. We are prepared as a city. The flu is still our biggest risk, especially here in Indiana, but nationwide. The flu is affecting far more people in the United States than the coronavirus. Well, again, we still recommend if you've not gotten your flu shot, please get your flu shot because the flu is still sticking around.
If you call 911 with flu symptoms, be prepared to be asked if you've traveled overseas. If you say yes, be prepared for this response in the age of the coronavirus.
The responders, once they get on scene, will then confirm with you that you have been to one of the high-risk areas. And if that happens, they're going to hand you a surgical mask, which is just good procedure in cold and flu season anyway. It's just something to put over your mouth so you limit how your exposure to other folks. We will don a little more involved personal protective equipment.
The responders would wear what we call droplet and contact isolation. One of the things we wear is a gown. It may be blue, maybe yellow. And this is just if there is coughing, if there's sneezing or anything that might make droplets. This just keeps it off their clothing. The respirators our people use are reusable devices. The provider would wear, of course, gloves. This is one of multiple types of face shields. This is a disposable one. It just slips on your head.
What does this help do then? What is
This is, again, if pretend now I'm the patient. If I'm ill and I cough, I make this aerosol mist of fine droplets, and those droplets stick on basically what they see, what they fly at. So this would catch those droplets so they wouldn't be sticking on your face or getting your eyes.
At the end of the day, this is a process to keep the patient and the medic safe.
Continuous, yes.
All the time?
All the time.
In our next half hour, we'll show you the year's worth of supplies that EMS has on standby in case it needs to respond to a public health threat beyond its daily emergency calls, which at times, Meredith, can top 350 a day that EMS is responding to.
Well, and we've already seen in some locations, not only here in the States, but across the world, that patients are taken to particular quarantined hospitals. Will this be the same situation here if an ambulance does pick up a patient? Will they have to take them somewhere in particular?
Here in Indianapolis, medics will take you to the hospital of your choice. They say that area facilities have the protocols in place to admit a patient who potentially has the COVID-19 virus.
Okay, good to know, Raphael. We have all the details on this story right now on the RTV6 app and the IndyChannel.com.
And this morning, we do want to stress again, there are no confirmed cases of coronavirus here in the state of Indiana, but state health officials are monitoring 26 people for that virus. Health officials say those individuals are being monitored because of their travel history or the people they've come in contact with. Our Alyssa Donovan is joining us live this morning with the steps state leaders are trying to take to keep you and your family safe. Alyssa, good morning.
Good morning, Lauren. So state leaders tell us that since this virus is so new, there's no way of knowing if or when it will make it here. But there is a plan in place if it does make it into the state of Indiana. So state leaders are stressing that there is no need for the public to panic. And the reason they are addressing concerns about the virus right now is just to ease any fears. At this point, the virus is not considered a pandemic, meaning it has not spread worldwide. However, World Health officials say that it does have the potential to reach that level. Indiana health leaders say they are in constant communication with the CDC, local health departments, and hospitals, and they ensure the public that they're prepared if the virus is found in our state.
I feel very confident. I mean, Indiana has already, and Pam was here during this time, handled the pandemic virus of H1N1 in 2009. We have been through the Ebola concerns. We have been through MERS and actually had a case in northern Indiana. We are very well supported for this.
Additionally, state health leaders say they feel right now they have the funding to handle the virus if it's necessary, noting that the federal government is also working on additional funds for states going forward if it's needed. And health officials say that at this point, the coronavirus cases that have happened have been very mild. And they say that at this point, there's also a mortality rate that's higher, that's actually around 1% rather, which is higher than the flu. The people that are most at risk of getting this coronavirus are the elderly and people with underlying health issues. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. And we are working for you with a complete coverage of the coronavirus preps here in the Hoosier State and all across the country. You can find all of our stories by visiting the IndyChannel.com/coronavirus.
Taking a turn now here at 6:08, 2 Indigo projects could be brought to a screeching halt thanks to an amendment introduced and approved by state lawmakers on Thursday.
That amendment would take away some funding from Indigo, which jeopardizes plans for the blue and purple lines. Our Kelsey Anderson is live from the State House with more on what lawmakers are saying this morning. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Raphael and Meredith. So this is the second time this week that lawmakers here at the State House have passed an amendment that could add hurdles to plans that the city's already approved. An amendment to House Bill 1279 would create a penalty for a rule that lawmakers say is already on the books. That law requires 10% of the funding for a transit project like the Blue Line or Purple Line to come from a source other than taxes or fares. But Republicans at the State House say that law is not being followed And the amendment creates fiscal penalties such as the state withholding a percentage of the funds approved under the 2016 transit referendum. Meantime, Democrats criticize the amendment.
The legislation was pretty clear when it was done back in 2015, I believe it was, that they had to use 10% private money, and they simply did not do it. This is trying to say, no, we meant that, and let's do it.
We're going through a very trying time in the city of Indianapolis. Violent crime is up, people are getting killed, and we're over here trying to provide transit for people to go to work, and we got people who want to stop it.
A statement from a spokesperson for Mayor Joe Hogsett reads in part, quote, "It's clear that in order for Indianapolis to remain Central Indiana's economic engine, we must have reliable transit, accessible transit options that connect workers with opportunities for education and employment." Now, the chamber will likely vote on this next week, and we, of course, will keep you updated both on air and online. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
This time now is 6:10. A new overnight gunfire at a Northside gas station leaves a man dead. Police say the shooting happened at the Marathon at the corner of 30th and College Avenue. This happening just before 11 last night. That victim pronounced dead at the scene. Police have not released if the victim is an employee or a customer. They have also not released what led to that gunfire. If you have any information about what may have happened, you're being asked to call Crime Stoppers. Also new from overnight, an early morning crash leaves one person dead. This happening on the city's northeast side. That crash happened at East 30th and Enterprise Street just after 1 this morning. The other driver was injured in the crash and taken to the hospital. This morning, police say alcohol is believed to be a factor in that crash.
The Indiana Department of Education is taking steps to suspend the teaching license of 3 educators in Hendricks County. On Thursday, IDOE filed complaints against Tri-West High School Dean of Students Tracy Begley, Athletic Director Nathan Begley, and former Principal Adam Benner. The complaints accuse them of failing to report an alleged inappropriate relationship between a teacher and student to the Department of Child Services or police. The state wants to suspend the Begley's licenses for 2 years and Benner's license for 3 years. The Begleys are still working at Tri-West. Benner resigned in June. A criminal record can play a big role in the search for a new career. New at 6:14, I'll show you how the business community in Hamilton County is helping former inmates turn their lives around.
And it's a cold start to our day here across central Indiana. As you're walking out, the temperatures anywhere from about 14 to 25 degrees, depending where you live. The colder temperatures are to the north. Despite the cold start, we do have a warm up in our forecast. We'll let you know when that arrives coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 6:12. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Flooring, floors to your home. That's who.
Hiring Hoosiers, our initiative focuses on employment opportunities, career resources, and exposing the barriers that you may face while searching for success.
That's right. Well, over the past year, we've told you about how much criminal records can impact someone's ability to find a job and how that in turn can affect the recidivism rate.
Today, I look into a program at the Hamilton County Jail where inmates learn job skills and the business community plays a major role.
And kids that I went to school with, they have career jobs now, they have families, and I'm just sitting in jail.
22-year-old Max Remley admits he didn't make the best decisions. But when speaking to him days before his release, he was adamant about turning his life around.
This time I really think that I'm ready and I've done my time and my duty to get out and do good for me, my family, my community. So
his new attitude is thanks in part to the Tower program inside the Hamilton County Jail. It works with inmates to plan their successful re-entry into society. One major focus, employment. During our visit, a representative from Hiddle Landscaping explained why they offer ex-offenders jobs.
There are studies that show statistics that say you are less likely to recidivate if you maintain employment. I think it's 60 days after you've been incarcerated, so that 60-day period after you're released, if you can continue to maintain employment, you're less likely to recidivate.
Gunn, alongside Sheriff Quakenbush, have relied on support from the local business community to give these men and women a second chance that sticks.
It's really hard to find people in this economy to do a job and really come to work every day and do a good service. And so we saw that need there, and this is really trying to fill that gap.
Something Remley has been working hard to do.
Yeah, we've just been sitting down, filling out resume, cover letters. She's been teaching me how to do job applications and a whole bunch of stuff still when I get out in the world, like interview skills, stuff like that. So when I get out in the world, I can use those to my advantage.
Gunn served 50 inmates in the Tower program in 2019, and she hopes the next time they return here, it's a full circle moment.
And I always tell my mentees, like, I hope one day you're back in this building mentoring somebody like you were.
Sheriff Quakenbush says the ultimate goal is to put the jail out of business, making a better future and safer community for everyone. The Tower program is always looking for more mentors and businesses in Hamilton, Marion, Boone, and Madison counties that are willing to hire men and women who have completed the program. We've put contact information and this story on hiringhoosiers.com.
Here at 6:17, we got to talk about the forecast today. Starting off cold, but I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Is it Sunday yet?
Yeah.
Did you say it was Sunday? What?
You know, Sunday's the day we're looking forward to, right? Temperatures are going to be in the mid-50s. I envision a lot of people out and about walking through their neighborhoods, on the trails through central Indiana, but we're not there yet. It's very cold this morning, and even tomorrow morning, as I'll show you, we get off to a very cold start as well. 26 in Bloomington, 20 we're down to now in Indianapolis, as well as Greenfield. Teens to the north, 14 in Prue, 17 in Tipton. The temperatures to the north a little bit colder compared to southern locations because the snowpack is a little bit thicker there to the north, where they saw 3 to 4 inches of snow the other day compared to virtually no snow in southern locations. We'll start off with some sunshine here this morning, and then the clouds will fill back in. Temperatures will be in the mid-20s throughout the morning hours. We get close to 30 degrees by the noon hour, and then we just kind of hover right around 30 degrees throughout a good portion of the afternoon and into the evening hours. You notice one snow icon here at 4 p.m. You could probably carry that maybe into the 5 o'clock hour as well, as some snow showers will eventually start to make their way into the area. You notice the clear skies right now, but here come the clouds. So if there's any sunshine this morning throughout the day, it's going to be this morning. And these are just a few flurries. The snow showers I'm talking about and more concerned about are back off to our west still here in northern portions of Illinois. And these will come streaming to the southeast and mainly impact southern portions of central Indiana, as you'll see on TrueCast in just a second. As we work our way throughout the afternoon hours, it's really around 3, 4 o'clock that these snow showers start to make their way through the area. For those of you in northern locations, you probably don't have to worry about these at all. And even as these snow showers start to make their way through, they are not going to put down a lot in the way of accumulating snow. They're going to be more snow squalls than anything, but snow squalls could still be very dangerous. And at the top of my list is my major concern here, and that is reduced visibility, especially on the interstates. If you're traveling at a higher rate of speed, you hit the snow squall, visibility is reduced, and that's a lot of times when we get a lot of accidents. So just know if you do encounter one of these snow squalls, just to slow down, and the conditions can change very, very quickly. 1 minute the sun is out, next minute you're hitting the snow squalls. Not going to expect much in the way of accumulation, though. It could be a coating, maybe a half an inch, and that's just about it, but it's on an isolated basis. Otherwise, this evening is quiet with temperatures that will be in the 20s. Tomorrow morning, we're in the teens in most locations. An extremely cold start to the day on Saturday, but with lots of sunshine, temperatures get back into the mid to upper 30s. It's a bright day, just a little bit below normal, but here's the day we're looking for. A Sunday, 58 degrees. Tulips, I just wanted to think spring, Raphael, here with that picture. They're not coming up yet, or they're not going to be blooming. I do know some of them are coming up out of the ground, including in my own yard. And then next week, we remain mild, but rain showers return starting on Monday.
All right, Todd.
Todd the gardener.
Todd's tulips.
Yeah, Todd's tulips.
Here's a live look right now at a crash we're monitoring in Fishers. Left lane blocked. You can barely see it there, but it's off in the distance, some flashing lights. Traffic still moving along okay. We have about a 5-minute delay in the Fishers area in the northbound lane, so give yourself that a little bit of extra time.
And Todd just gave you many reasons why to think warmer thoughts, because hundreds of people will be freezing for a reason in Greenwood this weekend. The city will host the area's second polar plunge, benefiting Special Olympics on Saturday. If you want to take the plunge, it's still not too late. On-site registration opens at 9 tomorrow at Dye's Walk Country Club. The first person will take the plunge at 10:30 in the morning. Each plunger is encouraged to dress up to enter into a costume contest. This is the second year for the Greenwood event. Have a good time, all for a great cause in Special Olympics.
We often shop at places like TJ Maxx or Marshall's to save money. New at 6:27, our John Matteries explains how the right timing can save you even more cash.
February is American Heart Month, and each morning this month we've been giving you tips for a healthy lifestyle. Here's a final tip for you. Schedule physical activity on your work calendar and treat it like it's an important appointment. These tips are part of the Go Red for Women campaign sponsored by the American Heart Association. It's 6:21 on your Friday. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. We'll be right back.
On the 2020 Altima.
The time now is 6:24. What is trending at 6? You know, we're getting ready to think about sort of beach weather with Sunday's forecast. Because when it gets to be 50 degrees in Indiana, it's like 100 degrees here, right?
Yeah,
right?
heat
But
wave.
This is something really, are you ever wondering when you lose something at the beach? Maybe
my.
Yeah.
My.
Where did your beach towel go? Well, vets in Australia say they saved a pet snake's life by removing your lost beach towel. There it is. It was there. Doctors used forceps to remove the towel from the 18-year-old jungle carpet python, which of course is named Monty. Her family says Monty is already back to acting normal, and I would as well if that beach towel was in my stomach. But if you lose a sandcastle...
Todd is literally dying right now. We are going to need to resuscitate him momentarily. He hates snakes so much.
Thanks, guys.
His
Wow.
worst nightmare.
That is really ridiculous.
Look how big that towel is.
I mean, that's a big towel, yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Snake's like, I feel better now.
He just saw the banana on there, wanted a snap.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can do my next weather here.
Okay, well, it may be great for crime fighting, but it doesn't mean that it is street legal. Police seized this Batmobile replica in Moscow last weekend. Russian officials say the vehicle was not registered or approved to drive in traffic. This Batmobile appears to be based on the one featured in the 2016 movie Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Lucy the elephant has stood on New Jersey's Jersey Shore for 138 years, and now you have a chance to stay inside the National Historic Landmark. Starting March 8th, Airbnb will list Lucy the elephant for rent March 17th, 18th, or 19th. For $138, lucky guests will have the beachfront house to themselves, plus chef-prepared meals. I don't think the weather, though, will be very nice on the Jersey Shore.
I don't think they're
mid-March.
offering that deal after Memorial Day.
Yeah. I mean, that's very cool, but yeah, that's not where I would choose to be going for a beach vacation that time of year. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, outside right now, it is cold, very winter-like feel, and winter still has a grip on central Indiana, although it will become more spring-like here in the coming days. 18 in Logansport right now, 17 in Lafayette, 20 in Muncie. Radar is quiet right now, but there are snow showers off to our west, and they will move in later on this afternoon. Reducing visibility probably is going to be the main issue. Could put down some minor accumulation, maybe a dusting in spots. Otherwise, just partly to mostly cloudy skies. Highs in the 20s only today to the north, about 30 here in Indianapolis.
Todd, thank you so much. So are you looking for fashionable clothing at a low price? Sure, you can wait for sales, but the easier way, some say, is to shop at TJ Maxx and Marshall's.
Okay, well, working for you, our John Matteries has secrets for getting even lower prices there so you don't waste your money.
If you like saving money on fashion and home goods, you probably already shop TJ Maxx or its sister store Marshall's. But savvy shoppers know even more ways to save. While department stores from Sears to Macy's are shuttering their doors, TJ Maxx and Marshall's are expanding. And for good reason. New bargains every week on
household goods, rugs, pillows. Yeah, like Kate Spade or Michael Kors. Skincare products are at an affordable price.
Nice earrings, 14-karat gold earrings.
Now, you probably know that every time you go in these doors, you're going to save money compared with retail. But if you know how their racks and tags work, well, you can save even more. Joni Deemer, one of the founders of the Crazy Coupon Lady blog, shared 9 secrets every shopper should know, starting with what days to shop.
They get their shipments early hours of Monday mornings, and so they're going to be getting that new inventory out those first few days.
Joni says by Friday and Saturday, the best deals are cleared out. Tip number 2, know what the tag colors mean.
A white tag is regular price. A red tag is a clearance price. And then if you see a yellow tag, that is actually a final clearance price.
Yellow means the price won't go any lower. Tip 3, check their makeup and lotion aisle before going to the department store or Sephora.
I would say beauty items absolutely are one of my favorite items to buy. So
4, they have a great selection of pet supplies, often cheaper than pet chains.
as far as like pet beds and all the pet accessories that you need.
But tip 5, Joni says think twice before buying sheets and towels, and you can often do better at Target or department store sales.
While the prices at TJ Maxx are okay, there are so many better places to shop.
6, use gift cards interchangeably between TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and more. Finally, forget about couponing or price matching with other stores. Prices at TJ Maxx are so low, what you see on the tag is what you get, but it's usually a good deal, so you don't waste your money. Working for you, I'm John Matteries. Good morning, Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Good morning, Indiana. On this Friday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. New overnight, one person is dead after a crash on the city's northeast side. It happened just after 1 this morning at East 30th and Enterprise Street. One driver died. The other was taken to the hospital. Right now, the condition of the second driver is unknown.
Metro Police investigating a shooting that left a person dead on the city's north side. This happened at the Marathon at the corner of 30th and College Avenue just before 11 last night. Officers say the man died at the scene. So far, that's all the information that has been released.
Police are also looking for answers in a homicide that happened on the northwest side Thursday afternoon. Officers found the victim dead on Eagles Watch Drive near 56th Street and I-465, just south of Eagle Creek Reservoir. Police say the victim appears to be an adult, but they are still investigating.
A judge has denied a teen's request to withdraw his guilty plea in the murder of an Indianapolis doctor. Devin Seats had earlier pleaded guilty to killing Dr. Kevin Rogers in 2017, but this month the 19-year-old surprised the court when he asked for the case to go to trial. The judge turned that request down. Now he faces up to 50 years in prison when he is sentenced on March 12th.
For more local news, a new campaign from the Marion County Health Department hopes to reduce the stigma that surrounds drug addiction. Now, this is called What Friends Are For. It encourages sufferers to talk about their addiction struggles with the people they trust. The other part of that campaign will emphasize the legality of carrying naloxone. The drug is used to reverse the effects of opioid overdose. Naloxone is available at several pharmacies over the counter.
Here at 6:31, we do have some news to get to if you're a parent of an IPS student. Some major changes in their busing today. We're going to have more details on that coming up. But first, we got to talk about the forecast for all the kids heading out to the bus stop this morning.
Yeah, they're going to need to bundle up, Todd.
Yeah, you know, without a doubt, temperatures in the teens in some locations here this morning. And so try to limit your time outdoors. And, of course, grab the hats and the gloves and all your warm weather clothes as you get going. Temperatures do vary. We're in the teens to the north, not as cold in southern locations. So what you see here is me kind of splitting the difference. On average, we're right around 20 degrees this morning with partly cloudy skies across the area right now. But as we work our way throughout the day, the clouds are going to increase, and you already see some of these clouds making their way into western portions of the state. There could be a few flurries with the initial band of cloud cover moving in, but it's these snow showers to our northwest that we'll have to keep an eye on for later on this afternoon that will come in. We're not expecting a lot in the way of any accumulating snow. It could be a dusting, and it's only going to be in spotty locations, but visibilities could be reduced greatly across the area. Highs only in the 20s today to the north, mid-30s down to the south, and as we work our way throughout the day, again, those snow showers will kind of ramp up by 2, 3 o'clock and then quickly diminish later on this evening. We'll talk much more about them coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes, but right now, let's get you updated on the roadways with Lauren.
Todd, this is an area we're monitoring a crash in the left lane of northbound I-69 near 96th Street. You can see traffic is heavy in that area, both northbound and southbound. Delays right now are about 5 minutes. The crash happened near 96th Street. Traffic is still getting by, though, and once you get past this area, it is smooth sailing this morning. Now, parents, listen up. We do have breaking news this morning. This impacts a lot of students at Indianapolis Public Schools. We just learned IPS says it is not able to run its regular school bus routes today because so many drivers have called off. IPS posted this message to social media just moments ago and sent a message message to parents and students saying that they will need to provide their own transportation for the kids to school today. Schools will remain open. However, if students are unable to attend because of the lack of buses and transportation, those students will not be marked absent. You should have just got an alert from us on your phone as well about this. Obviously, this is going to impact a number of families here in Indianapolis this morning. Well, right now, there are not any confirmed cases of the coronavirus in our state, but the CDC predicts that virus will eventually impact the United States.
State health officials say they're prepared for the possibility of the virus making its way to Indiana. And our Alyssa Donovan is live this morning with the state's precautions already in progress. Alyssa, good morning.
Good morning. So right now, the state is monitoring 26 people for the virus here in Indiana. The reason they're monitoring those people is due to their travel history or other people those individuals have been in contact with. Now, the state health officials have monitored 60 people in total. Others have passed their 14-day quarantine, deeming them healthy and safe to be around others. 3 of those individuals previously monitored were tested for the COVID-19 virus and tested negative. Health officials want to stress there are no confirmed cases of the virus in our state, saying since this virus is so new, there's no way of knowing if or when we will see it here. Right now, the virus is not considered a pandemic, but World Health officials say it has that potential. That's why state health leaders are taking these precautions. On the state level, Indiana health leaders say they are in constant communication with the CDC, local health departments, and hospitals. They shared they're prepared for the virus if it's found in our state.
They are all being basically self-quarantining in their homes in different counties. And our county local health departments are engaged actively on talking to them on a daily basis, asking them if they've developed fever, cough, shortness of breath, any signs or symptoms.
Now, state health leaders say most cases of coronavirus are very mild, but it does have a mortality rate of 1%, which is higher than the flu. The elderly population and those with underlying health issues are most at risk. Now, health leaders with this state also addressed if anyone has any travel plans, there is no need to cancel or change those plans at this point. However, we'll continue to follow this developing story and let you know if that travel plan changes. Reporting live, Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
At 6:36, our team coverage on this issue continues only on RTV6. The first line of defense against a coronavirus threat are the city's medics. Indianapolis EMS says it has enough supplies to handle the calls for help. These are just a few of the boxes that hold the supplies that could fight something like the coronavirus. We can't tell you where the supplies are stored. Gloves, masks, respirators. But the city tells us they have enough of the supplies to handle an incident for at least a year.
There's enough materials in there with what's on hand and what we know we can still continue to get through our supply chain to take care of our 80,000 patients that we transport for a year. We would not run out of supplies. The COVID-19 protections are essentially identical to the same protections we would use for a bad flu.
The supplies are kept in temperature-controlled areas. They're randomly checked to make sure that they remain effective.
And to stay prepared, and that's probably the hardest part of the game, is staying prepared through the long periods of time where there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
So that the day something like COVID-19 pops up and people might be worried, we can assure you we're ready for you.
This morning, let's talk numbers. The city has 31 ambulances with about 300 medics equipped with the supplies to handle any threat. We have more on this developing story right now in our digital extra. We will show you how Indy EMS would respond to a potential coronavirus call to your home. That and much more information on this developing story right now on the RTV6 app, as well as our website, theindychannel.com.
It is 6:37. 2 Indigo projects could be brought to a screeching halt thanks to a new amendment introduced and approved by state lawmakers. The amendment would take away some funding from Indigo, which could jeopardize their plans for the blue and the purple lines. Our Kelsey Anderson joins us live this morning from the State House with more on what lawmakers are saying about this issue. Kelsey, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Lauren. So this is the second time this week that we've told you about an amendment that state lawmakers have made that's going to add hurdles to projects that the city of Indianapolis has already approved. An amendment to House Bill 1279 would create a penalty for a rule that lawmakers say is already on the books. That law requires 10% of the funding for a transit project like the Blue Line or Purple Line to come from a source other than taxes or fares. But Republicans at the State House say that law is not being followed. The amendment creates fiscal penalties such as the state withholding a percentage of the funds approved under the 2016 transit referendum.
Legislation in 2015 was specifically for Indianapolis and said specifically for this mass transit project, 10% of the funds had to be raised privately, and that wasn't done. So yeah, of course it's very specific because it's dealing specifically with that project.
You know, it's very frustrating for people who are in the super minority to have their issues heard, especially from those in the super majority who think that their opinion is the only one that matters.
A statement from a spokesperson for Mayor Joe Hogsett reads in part, quote, "It's clear that in order for Indianapolis to remain Central Indiana's economic engine, we must have reliable, accessible transit options that connect workers with opportunities for education and employment." Now, the chamber will likely vote on this next week, and of course, we'll keep you updated both on air and online as this continues to develop. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. A big celebration for a big anniversary. Next, a local look back at 100 years of women having the right to vote. At 6:39, we'll be right back.
Keller and Keller.
It is 6:42. Back to breaking news this morning. This impacts a lot of students here at Indianapolis Public Schools. IPS says it is not able to run its regular bus routes today because so many drivers have called off. The schools remain open today. However, if students are unable to attend because of the lack of transportation, they will not be marked absent today. A big change for IPS students.
Here at 6:42, this year's election marks 100 years since women were granted the right to make their voices heard at the polls. Last night, the Indiana History Center hosted an event in honor of the 19th Amendment. The celebration included food, drinks, tour exhibits, and speakers. Ratified in 1920, the 19th Amendment prohibits states and the federal government from denying a person the right to vote on the basis of sex. Organizers say the event served as a way to celebrate the historic achievements of women and bring women together.
Women have come a long way in history. You know, they've fought the fight and for rights, and whether it's to vote or equal, pay and things like that. But then notoriously too, women have had somewhat of an uphill battle. So we want women to come together to help one another, not work against each other.
More than 300 people attended this sold-out event. All right, someone hand me my air horn. The in-state rivalry is renewed, and one team got a badly needed win to help its case for the postseason. We'll look at last night's battle between the Hoosiers and the Boilermakers coming up next. Boiler up, Todd.
It was not the best game for the Hoosiers. I've seen high school teams shoot a little better than they shot last night. Your morning commute is going to be a dry one. That's the good news. It's cold, though, but we'll give you the green lights. As you come home, though, some of you will see some snow showers, so we have to give you the caution sign here because these snow showers could reduce visibility. I'll let you know where I think they're going to impact travel later on this afternoon, coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast.
9 a.m. to 9 p.m. at Ashley Home Store.
It's 6:46 on your Friday. Here's a live look up in Fisher. Still monitoring a northbound crash at 96th Street on Interstate 69. Left lane is blocked. Traffic is delayed up to 5 minutes. Give yourself that extra time. Raphael.
Yeah, we powered up the live desk as we're following a breaking news this morning that impacts a lot of students here in Indianapolis. IPS schools, about 25,000 kids. IPS says now will not be able to run its regular school bus routes today because many of its drivers have called off on this Friday. Now, the schools will remain open. However, if students are unable to attend because of the lack of buses, they will not be marked absent today. We should point out that this is critical for IPS families. Many of the families, because of the poverty level in Indianapolis, they depend on breakfast this morning. So many of those families will be unable to feed their kids because of this. We're keeping an eye on this situation to figure out exactly what is happening with the bus drivers. Was this having to do anything to do with the labor issues that IPS is experiencing? We are waiting for the superintendent and the spokesperson to call us back. I have been on the phone. The Superintendent Alicia Johnson is on top of this. As soon as we get more information here at the live desk, we will pass it on to you. Lauren?
Raphael, thank you for that. We are a little over a year away from the 2021 NBA All-Star Weekend here in Indianapolis, but some organizations are already starting to see those benefits. Yesterday, the All-Star Host Committee announced a $1 million initiative granting money to 21 different projects all across the state. Those projects will impact 18 Indiana counties. Some of the groups that will receive grants are the Boys and Girls Club, the Hawthorne Community Center, and Camp Jameson. Another grant was awarded to the L&A Park Foundation. That money will go towards building a walking path surrounding the ball fields at the Abby and Libby Memorial Park in Delphi.
The in-state rivalry winning streak continues for Purdue. The Boilermakers beat the Indiana Hoosiers for the 7th straight time. Purdue started off hot through the beginning of the second half, leading by 16 points, but the Hoosiers came back to cut the lead to just 5 with 1 minute to go. Purdue held on, scoring its last 6 free throws to seal the win, 57-49. They faced number 18th ranked Iowa on Tuesday. IU will travel to play Illinois on Sunday. All right, I know I'm happy this morning. Todd, maybe not so much. And the weather ain't helping either.
Yeah, I don't lose any sleep over losses. I mean, obviously I want to see my team win, but it is what it is. All right, outside right now, it's very cold. Our forecast high for the day today is 30 degrees. Where should we be? Well, we should be at 45. So we're 15 degrees below normal for the day today. That'll be changing, though, as we work our way throughout the weekend. That's something to look forward to, but we have to get through today and a pretty chilly day tomorrow before we get to those warmer temperatures. Notice the temperature spread this morning. 14 to the north in Peru. 27 is the current temperature in Bedford. 26 in Bloomington. The difference, because we all have clear skies, more of a snowpack in northern locations compared to southern locations where we are dealing with less in the way of snow. So as we work our way throughout the day today, we are going to see temperatures get up to right around 30 degrees for our afternoon high. So there's not a whole lot of warming that's going to take place throughout the day today, unfortunately, as we go throughout the day. But then we'll also bring some snow showers in later on this afternoon. And you can already see the clouds starting to increase just a little bit across the area. So any sunshine would mainly be this morning. What you see as far as snow here, that's just a few flurries. That's really not my concern. My concern is later on this afternoon, where this batch of snow shower activity will continue to make its way off towards the south and east. So those of you in northern locations, you probably miss out on these snow showers. It's not a widespread event. It's more of an isolated issue that we are going to be dealing with later on this afternoon and into the evening hours. But some of these snow showers are going to start to come in right as we start the evening drive, and that's my concern, more the timing of anything. And as we go throughout the afternoon and evening hours, we probably just deal with these snow showers for a 2-hour window, and then they make their way through the area. And we're not talking about a lot in the way of accumulation. That's not my biggest concern. My biggest concern is the snow squalls. The visibility, like you just saw right there, could quickly be reduced. So especially traveling on interstates at higher rates of speed, it could be just fine, and then all of a sudden you hit one of these snow squalls, and that's when we start to get into the issues as far as getting into accidents and pile ups. So just be careful later on this evening for about a 2-hour window. The rest of your evening is just fine, with temperatures that will be in the 20s as we go into the overnight hours. Saturday starts off very cold, teens and right around 20 degrees in southern locations, but Saturday we're up to 39 with sunshine in the afternoon, and there's what we're looking ahead to on Sunday. 58 degrees with increasing clouds, a much warmer pattern taking shape starting on Sunday into next week, but enjoy Sunday because it's dry. Rain showers return to the forecast starting on Monday. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. We do have a traffic alert for drivers heading into the downtown area from the near east side. This is a live look at the north split. We have a little bit of a bottleneck here due to a crash on the ramp system, blocking part of the ramp from westbound I-70, so that's heading in from the east side, turning onto southbound I-65. So you do have a collector ramp option in that area, but you can see traffic is moving at a slow pace. Once you get past this, things pick back up, but give yourself that extra time as we get closer to 7 o'clock. This area tends to get very busy. Well, it is time for Good News Friday. Coming up, things in life that are bigger than wins and losses. How opponents on the basketball court joined forces to create this special moment. We'll be right back.
Visit the Hiring Hoosiers job board. At 6:55, we continue to follow breaking news this morning, and this impacts 25,000 students that attend IPS schools. IPS says it is not able to run its regular school bus routes today because many of the drivers have called off today. Just got off the phone with the IPS's chief communications officer. The superintendent is on top of the situation. They're also meeting with union leaders this morning to just make sure what happened today, out of fear that possibly this could be in response to the school district deciding to outsource some of its bus services. Of course, this is a breaking news situation. We'll have much more on this developing story throughout Good Morning America.
Well, we do want to end the week, though, with some good news for all of you at home. It's the return of Good News Friday, and we started off with someone offering a very special gift to a special couple.
A Central Indiana wedding planner says she wants to help a couple who might be going through some hard times with their big day.
Christine Kingery calls it planning from the heart. She says she wants to give away an entire wedding plan to a couple that has gone through a life-changing event or who might be experiencing a serious health issue. That includes 12 months of wedding planning, money to go toward a wedding dress, a venue, flowers, and more. This is major. You can nominate a couple or share your story at her website, ChristineKingeryEvents.com, and she will choose a lucky couple this August.
Very
amazing.
Cool. Well, Brownsburg may have beaten my Center Grove Trojans in boys basketball this week, but a member of Center Grove's team got a special victory of his own. Number 35, senior Liam Price. He's a Special Olympian and a 4-year manager for the boys basketball team. Here he suits up for the game for the first time ever. And you see there right after the opening tip, he's given a chance to score, and he does so with that layup. Check that out, a standing ovation from the entire crowd for Liam. Everyone's
Liam. Awesome.
Heard he is a great guy.
Yes.
So
Awesome.
very exciting.
Oh, also a great guy, Henry here that we're about to show.
Yeah, here's your dog walking forecast. Henry, he knows what he's doing because he just moved here from Minnesota about 6-7 months ago. So he has his scarf on, he's ready to go. And thanks to Kimber, who says they moved here 6 months ago and they found Good Morning Indiana and they watch every day now. So we thank you as well. Cold today with temperatures only around 30.
All right, thanks. And thank you for joining us. We're back here in 25 minutes.
All your news throughout the day is on the RTV6 app, including the cancellation of buses for IPS schools.
Have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.